what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that scoring card. So by tapping on that card, it will then take me directly into our scoring pad, which you can see on the screen here, which is what we're going to spend time going through now. You can see up the top that there's a banner that indicates player attendance not set. So what that means is that you want to complete the player attendance, because that's how the individuals are going to be populating onto the areas for each of the teams. So as you select player attendance, you'll then see a list of all your players for each of the teams. So you'll be able to access Team A and Team B, so you can see the teams across the top. So just by selecting Celtics and then by selecting grey bound, you can see the list of the players that sit within that team. You can see that you've got a full list of all the players that sit within the team. To select them, you do need to, on the right-hand side, select the individual and just tick them. You're going to go through the process of ticking them to confirm their attendance. If you are needing to, for example, change their shirt number, so as mentioned, the very first match, they will have no shirt number. As you select them, it will prompt you to put in a shirt number, because they do need to have a shirt number to be selected, so it will prompt you. If you are needing to change their shirt number, you can select either their name or where you're seeing shirt and their number, and that will bring a pop-up. From there, we've got up to 3 characters or 3 numbers, so you can put in the shirt number. It sits there, you press OK. That shirt number carries over onto the next match. So you don't need to re-enter it, but you can edit it for the next match if they don't have the same shirt number. You will see down the bottom that there's a borrow player option. That borrow player option is how you would borrow your players. So to do that, you would select borrow player, and this is where you have the ability to search, for that particular individual. So as you search, so based on your borrowing rules, you can search, and then you'll see a return of who you have access to borrow. So if I'm selecting this individual, you'll see that they're then added to the team attendance, and you'll see that next to them that there's a B, and that B indicates, by selecting that B, it indicates the age group and division or the grade that they're being borrowed from. If we are including them in the team sheet, we want to make sure that we select them as well. You'll see that they have no shirt number, so we're going to put in a shirt number as well for them. You want to make sure that you do that for both Team A and Team B. So once you've confirmed your lists, you will then see them populate automatically onto the left-hand side and the right-hand side underneath their teams. If you are needing to go back in to adjust their team attendance, you'll see in the top right-hand corner that there is a little wheel icon. You select that, and then you see that there's the option to select team selection, and you can jump in and you can go in and make any adjustments. Once you've got your players on there, you do have the option to choose who's on court or off court. If that's something that you're doing, you can see that everyone's automatically on court. If you are choosing the option to go through on court and off court, as you select the on court option that sits there, you will then have the ability to move the players to off court if you are doing that. So you can move the players by, on the right hand side, you can see that there's a little minus option, and that bumps them into the off court area. So you can move them to on court, off court if that's something that you are applying. If you are wanting to apply what we call the color per team, so per their shirt, if you select the team, so if you select, for example, the G or the C in this instance, you can select the color that's associated to that team. So you can say that they are pink, and you'll see that they all highlight pink, and the other team may be blue. We're going to select blue, so that's just by selecting that area. You can choose the number. From there, to start the match, you do select start. So by selecting start, it will start the match, and you'll see the clock tick down based on our settings that are in match day. So we're doing 10-minute quarters here. You can start to see that tick down. If you are needing to stop the clock for whatever reason, you select stop, and that pauses the clock. If you're needing to start it, you press start, and that will continue on with the clock. In terms of your scoring, you can see that across the top row in yellow, there's +1, +2, +3. They are your points. So if someone scores 1 point, you'd select the point, and then you'd select the individual. It works both ways. So if you select the individual and then the point, it works. So either way, so you can select the point and then the individual, or the individual and the point. So it works both ways. So if we're to add 3 points, we select 3 points and then add it to the individual, and vice versa. So that's how you select the points. Underneath there, you'll see that there's a plus 1M, plus 2M, plus 3M. They are your misses. So if you are recording misses, that's how you would record a miss. You'd select the miss and then select it to the individual as part of that process. So if you are recording misses, that's what they stand for, plus 1M, plus 2M, plus 3M. From there, if you are doing your fouls, it's the exact same. So you select the foul. In this instance, personal foul, and we're going to account it to that individual, and then you select the individual as part of that. So it's the exact same process, works both ways, selecting type of foul and then the individual. If the individual reaches their particular threshold that you've set up, so if we, for example, select the individual, it then says they have reached their foul limit, they have been removed, from the match. If they're fouled out from the match, you select yes. You'll then see that there's a strike through that individual that sits there. In terms of undoing an option, so there's two different ways it can be done. You can see that there's an undo option that sits next to the points up the top. By selecting undo, that then takes away the previous action. So it only takes away the previous action for that team. So by selecting undo, it takes away that previous action. If you are wanting to make further edits, so if it was beyond the most previous action, in the top right-hand corner, you can select the little icon that sits up there, and it will take you into what we call the action log. The action log shows you each of the items that have been entered. So these are the items that we've entered so far, and you can see that breakdown. You can select these items. So I can select, say, for example, that foul that I selected. By selecting that particular action, what you can do is there'll be a pop-up to delete that particular option or edit it. So there's just by selecting it, you can edit that particular action that sits within the timeline. In terms of timeouts, how it works is that you can see in the top left for the Celtics and to the left of the ground bound, you can see that there's a timeout option. By selecting that timeout option, it confirms are you happy with the timeout to occur? And then you select yes, and then that will then pause the clock. If you guys continue the clock during your timeouts, you do just need to press start, but it automatically pauses the clock with the timeouts. If you are needing to adjust the clock, so for example, if you've need to take the time back or whatnot, how you do that is by selecting timer. So you can see here that I'm currently sitting on 5 minutes and 56. By selecting the clock, it will say, would you like to change the timer? So you can go through and adjust, you can bring time forward or backwards if you need to change the time. When I get to the very end, you can see here that there's a confirm option, and it's saying that, 5-5 score. To confirm, are you happy with the score? Because we do have some instances where people submitting scores and it's not the right score, they need to make an adjustment. So we've added in this pop-up. If you press cancel, gives you the option to go through and, go through and go make any adjustments. To confirm the score, you just need to type in confirm. It is case sensitive, and you can't have any spaces at the end. So if you pre-fill or use autofill, it will add in space. You just need to make sure that there's no spaces and it's case sensitive with a capital C. Once you press submit, you'll see then on the home screen, I did previously have 2 scoring cards that sit there. Now I only have the 11A one that sits there.